For the first time in 2 months, the Mariners will take a losing record into the off day. Welcome to the Dom Skiing Channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. And the Mariners lost 5-2 today, got swept in Arizona on an absolute losing streak, completely reeling. Where do we go from here? Well, let's start with the positives because there weren't many. Donovan Solano had by far his best game of the season, hitting his first home run for the Mariners today. He also had, 2 for 4. Hit the home run. And he looks good at the plate. He had a really hot road trip. I think he's 7 for 11 in this series overall. So encouraging to see from him, a guy who a lot of fans thought is not going to contribute much this year at all. Now all of a sudden was one of our few bright spots. And this was a tied 2-2 ball game. We actually took the lead in the first inning and then took the lead, extended our lead in the fifth inning. However, you get a really ugly sixth inning. Same thing, 2 days in a row. 2 times in the last 24 hours, we have allowed 5 runs in the bottom of the sixth inning. And this time, Bryan Woo, similar to last week's day game. It's a day game, gets through 5 innings, and the 6th inning, quality start completely ruined. Bryan Woo goes 6 innings, allowing 5 earned runs on 7 hits. 3 strikeouts to 1 walk, allowing 2 homers, that really, including a grand slam to Gino. That's what killed the game for us. But looking over at Bryan Woo, 6 swinging strikes on 79 pitches. That's terrible, especially since we've come to expect ace level production from Bryan Woo. That's what he's shown us all season. The signs are all there. You watch him at the park, like I did last week, and the way it comes off his hand, this guy is an absolute superstar. However, this one, his pitch mix, 37% four-seam, 28% two-seam, 18% slider, 13% changeup, 5% sweeper. Only compiling 6 whiffs total. That's just not going to cut it. The average exit velocity was low still, but just a few mistakes. 1 bad inning. 2 times in a row now, it's 1 bad inning that gets Bryan Woo. And that's really just a disappointing thing to see. It doesn't mean that, Bryan Woo should change his approach. Bryan Woo isn't an ace. He is those things. The only thing is, you can't have a quality start every single one of your 34 starts in the year. Gabe Spire came into this game. He was all right. Didn't get any whiffs in this one. Gets 1 out, though. Allows 2 hits. Again, Gabe Spire's been great for us. It is what it is, Carlos Vargas gets a strikeout, finishes the game out on the pitching side for us. And Matt Brash with another clean inning. That's the only real positive on the pitching side today for us. Now, Eduardo Rodriguez, on the other hand, gets a quality start more because of, the Mariners lineup was incapable today. 6.1 innings pitched, 2 earned runs on 6 hits, 5 strikeouts to 1 walk, a homer on 81 pitches. 6 hard hits off Eduardo Rodriguez. And you go look through Eduardo Rodriguez stats, 14 swinging strikes on 81 pitches. Is that because the Mariners are swinging and missing? I think the Mariners are definitely pressing at the plate. I'm not willing to say that Eduardo Rodriguez is a great pitcher this year or is a terrible one. He's kind of just okay. I think he's probably around 90. If we were going to rank all the 150 starters in the MLB right now, I'd put him around the 90 range. So he's definitely below average, but he's getting Zach Eflin level of whiffs against us. So, hey, he looks like, a reliable low ceiling arm today against us. With him, it's 7 swinging strikes on 37 four-seamers. You got 4 swinging strikes on 17 cutters, 2 on 14 changeups, 1 on 7 two-seamers. He did a good job of limiting the hard contact too. But the fact of the matter is, both Julio and Solano both have pretty good days at the plate, both multi-hit efforts. Julio actually going 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. He's now up to 262 batting average on the season. And you remember our big question at the beginning of the year: who's going to lead the Mariners in batting average? I hate to put a smile on, but it's kind of maddening watching it go down and down because it started out really good, Polanco and all these guys. Now you've got J.P. Crawford's hitting 279. That's the highest on the squad. Cal is 265 because he is having the career season that he could ever have. However, that's with 1,000 OPS, 1,001 OPS. He's got a 265 average. So obviously that's got to come down. It's just hard to believe that Cal is gonna hit 265 when he really is selling out for power most of the time, unless it's a situation that calls for him to do otherwise. He'd take a walk over a single a lot of the time. So, I mean, come on. And then Julio, 262. You've also got Jorge's still at 262. He fell so much, but he's been all right now. 1 for 4 in this one. Anyway, I want to ask you guys again, who's going to lead the Mariners in batting average? And let's say this is the 68th game of the season. After game 81, who's going to lead us midway through the season in batting average? Let me know down in the comments below on that one. Other things that happened in this one, after that 5-run 6th inning, we're deflated. Any 5-run 6th inning, sucks, especially when it's your second one in the last 24 hours. But this wasn't just any 5-run 6th inning. We loaded up the bases, and then Eugenio Suarez hits a grand salami. Get out the rye bread and mustard, except, oh wait, it's 2 years later, he's not on the Mariners anymore. He's hitting it against us. And I'm pretty annoyed by all the trade talk surrounding Gino, because the same things that you got rid of him for, he hasn't really improved in those regards. He's just playing in hot and sunny Arizona, and his hot streaks are magnified, especially when he does them at the beginning of the year and has the MLB lead in homers for a week. But he's really not that much different of a player than when we had him. Now, people are clamoring for that arm, which if you put that Eugenio Suarez hot corner third base arm in the infield, I think that's the best arm on the team. Right now, the best arm that we have is Julio in the outfield. Right field is a big question mark. Demo's an infielder, doesn't have a great arm from right field. Tavares was at least an outfielder, and Canzone is just, he's not a guy with a big arm. Then Randy, obviously, is just not the tallest, not the biggest guy. He's got an all-right arm, but it's definitely not one of his best tools. Gino would improve our defense significantly, although, again, Ben Williamson is the smarter, more analytical option just based on what you're getting for how much you're paying him, especially when you're the Mariners and you're forced to save budget a ton right now. At least that's what they tell us. So right now, Eugenio's hitting 233. He's got 19 homers, but he's hitting 233. And in terms of strikeouts, he's still in the bottom quartile. He's still in the bottom 25% on strikeouts. Still in the bottom 19% on whiff rate. Still in the bottom 27% on chase rate. And when you watched him as part of our lineup, especially when we would get hot and cold, and it was kind of a roller coaster of a season, he was the worst at the plate when we got hot and cold, because the way that he checks his swing, I mean, it's maddening to me. He will let his bat go way over the plate, even basically get in front of the plate. At least it looks like it to me on TV broadcast or in the stadium. When he's you can see that he's not accelerating into the pitch, not swinging, but he'll just kind of take it and kind of practice his swing at the same time. I mean, I never thought it clicked with him here necessarily. Obviously not to his career year level, where he hit 49 homers with Cincinnati, but again, that was Great American Ballpark. Super advantageous place to hit. My worries are, people see what he does in Arizona. They're not discounting the fact that he's the same guy that he was, that the Mariners already traded Jared Kelenic to dump the salary of. Along with Marco, they dumped Marco's salary in that deal as well, but still. It's maddening because Mariners fans now want Gino. The pessimistic Mariners fans get to go and say, oh, well, it's a guy that you let go that did this to us. The emotions are magnified. And obviously, seeing Suarez kill be a Mariner killer after we trade him, yeah, the emotions are going to be up here. And we've also lost, I don't even know exactly what the number is in terms of games in a row that we've won and lost, but we're below 500 now. We've got a losing record that we're taking it into the off day and into our homestand this next week. Got this weekend series against Cleveland, got a series next week against Boston. And even though, Julio does look better at the plate. He's naturally hitting doubles. He's naturally putting the ball in the gap and using his speed. So that's one of the few positives. Matt Brash, obviously a clean inning. Still hasn't allowed a run this year. That was wood I was knocking on, by the way. And yeah, you go to Arizona, you get swept. You're really cold right now. You can't keep getting swept. At this point, we're not talking about really buying at the trade deadline anymore. We got to play ourselves into that. Because Ryan O'Hearn and Gino Suarez and who are you going to trade away? They're gonna. If I'm one of those teams, I'm going to ask for more than I can, than I realistically think that I would give up. Because if I'm the Baltimore GM and the Mariners want Ryan O'Hearn, I'm saying, well, you got to give us one of these guys. You got all these shortstops. Same thing if I'm, the Arizona GM, with them on the line wanting Gino. So unless we're going to sell the future to salvage a season that's already below 500, we put ourselves in this tricky situation. My favorite plan of action after complaining for a good while is you keep playing the young guys, you keep developing from within, you keep the philosophy with Edgar and Dan going, and you absorb this big cold streak. There's no easy fix. You think, hey, at some point Donovan Solano is just going to hit his first home run of the year, stats will normalize, and when we win a game we shouldn't, that'll make up for the one that we lost that we should have won. But it doesn't work that way. We've talked about this one a little bit now. Getting out hit unexpected batting average 245 to 200, out hit 10 to 8. But then again, 2 runs on 8 hits. After last night, 3 runs on 12 hits. Just not a good conversion rate. 1 for 10 with runners to score in position in this one. There's a lot that we could criticize, but philosophy, identity. In football, when you're this type of team, you got to basically go run the football every play next week and show everybody that you cannot beat us up in the trenches. For the Mariners, it's like you got to go have the most scrappy, maybe the most boring baseball game to fans. I would love to see us just play like a 0-0 game. But really, I'd love to see us, with our pitchers, get guys at the plate. We haven't not been striking enough guys out, save for George Kirby's outlier performance on Sunday in Anaheim. I'd like to see some more scrappiness at the plate. I know that that's something I always preach. And then I would love to see a lot more strikeouts, a lot more swing and miss, because part of this could be that Arizona is just a pretty good plate discipline team. And they were hot this week, and we ran into their buzzsaw. But with that being said, we have Cleveland on Friday. I'll be at the game, and I will see you guys to recap that one Friday night. Go M's.